Hi, Becca. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you guys. We are live here tonight. It is Tuesday, and Ken pulled the Paisleys out last week, right? It was you, Ken. Yeah. And I did what I usually do, and I looked at the instructions before I did anything else. And I hope I've got some really fun things for you guys tonight. We will give everybody a minute. Castle, Michigan. Hey, Diane, I'm from Iron Mountain. Hi, Debbie. Debbie lives right near our daughter in Glendale, Arizona. She's only a couple blocks away from Cassandra. Yeah, yeah. So we've got Sarah here and we have Ken here. Hi, Julie. Julie's across town. Hi, Nancy. Nancy's across town too. Boy, what did you guys think of those storms we had come through earlier? They were really something. So it looks like we're getting some people here. So let's go ahead and take a look and talk about Paisleys. Okay, Sarah's giving me a funny look. Okay, they're figuring stuff out. Jill, hi. We're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Linda, we missed you Monday. Good to see you. Hi, Jan. Sirens. Ooh, Janice. Hi. I just saw you today. Oh, this is awesome. I just love seeing everybody coming on. So what we're going to look at is Paisley. Now, when we look at Paisley as a set, it comes in 4 templates, and the 4 templates are 1.5 inch, 2 inch, 2.5 inch, and 3 inch. And I've got them set out here for you. And what you're going to notice on a couple of these templates is we're going to talk about these lines that I drew on them, okay? Because when I looked at the instructions, Leonie West set these up basically to be backgrounds. And it is a beautiful background, and they're not really made to be joined together. And some people don't mind bearing threads. I'm one of those people that does not mind bearing threads. And I think that this is just an absolutely lovely, lovely background. Changing up the size, the shape, not the shape, but the direction of them. So what we look at when we look at our sizes is the height of the paisley. So this is a little different than most of the templates that we have, especially things like the spin effects, where our spin effects goes in the center and our design, our rotations are half of what the finished size is going to be. So with the paisley, the finished size is one simple rotation. Okay, so this is 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3 inches. Now, I was really intrigued by stitching it with the tail. I gotta tell you, I did some practicing with it, and I think that Leonie did great instructions here on how to stitch with or without the tail. Of course, we're going to do some different things with them. So let me go ahead and get some space cleared off here and see if there's any questions on here. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you guys how we can actually work with the paisleys in a round format. So this is just some of the plain that I did with them, and I got this one I just fell in love with. So we're going to start with that one first. Now what I need to do that one is our 2-inch simple circle. And I think most everybody has the starter sampler set, and we get the 2-inch simple circle from there. Now, what I'm going to do, because I want to show you some different things, is I'm only going to put the circle on half of this particular piece of fabric. And don't ask me why I just turned it around, because it doesn't matter which way we put it, okay? So I've got my circle lined up. I'm going to pull my bobbin thread, and up we go. And I'm not really going to worry about getting it under the template because we will be removing this template rather quickly. So down we go. And even though we're practicing, what I like to do is still practice my stitching skills, even when I'm practicing a template. So I will take that first stitch in place so I don't have a toe catcher. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep my stitches a little bit shorter because we're working on a curve. Our machines, and I know you guys have heard me say this before, our machines only work in a straight line. Our stitches, our sewing machines, I'm sorry, cannot make curved stitches. So in order for us to make them look nice and curved, what I like to do is just cut that little stitch length down a bit. And what's really awesome is with ruler work or template work, we are the stitch regulator. So we can make our stitches any way we want. Okay, there it is. There is half of it. Now I am going to pull out the largest of the templates here. Hi Dee, nice to see you. Okay, well, okay, guys, Ken is just telling me that he's not going to be able to chat because he's not signed in on YouTube. Okay. Um, so if you have any questions, he can relay them to me and we'll go from there tonight. Yeah, he really enjoys chatting with you guys. He's a little bummed over there. But we'll make sure when we set him up next week that we get it so he can chat with you all. Okay, so what I have done here is I have gone in and added some lines. Okay, and why I added them is because I wanted my paisleys to come to a certain point. And let me show you what I mean by that. I wanted them on this orientation as opposed to straight down. So what I did with them was I set them up where I wanted my paisley to come, and then I took my ruler, which I just had in my hands a second ago. There it is, I found it. I laid the ruler on top of my template so that I could see the line, and then I took my vis-a-vis marker and I went ahead and drew the line. Okay, the vis-a-vis marker is a little different than the markers we normally use, the friction markers. The vis-a-vis will not rub off on your fabric, okay, which is really, really nice. And it is wet eraser. So if you need to erase the lines, it's no problem. Normally, I just keep a little piece of paper toweling or a rag, and I have it just a little damp. And if I need to move the lines or anything or remove them. I just wipe that across and it comes off clean as a whistle. Right now, these fabric squares is 14 by 19 inches, okay? Normally when I do fabric squares for a quilt, I like to have 16 or 18-inch squares. It just gives me a lot of room to play with my rulers and my templates, and I'm sure that oh, hi, Judy P. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who know me and know that I just love to play. Oh, thanks. Dee, good job, Dee. Okay, Lana, we're not freezing up over here. So, it may be you. I'm sorry. Sometimes if you go out and come back in, that'll help. But I will tell you guys, we are having some bad weather here. It seems to be calmed down for the time being, and I hope it stays that way. But hopefully we won't lose you. If we do, then we'll just come back. Okay? All right, so when I set this up, and I do want you to see the markings that are already on there. If you look here, and I'm going to turn the light off because I know you can see the lines better. And if I can find my black paper, that will show them the best. Okay, there it is. Okay, so the way the lines are set up is we have a horizontal line at the top and a horizontal line at the bottom. Now, what this horizontal line at the top is this is if you want to make the paisley shape. And that would be just this shape here. You would come here, around, and stop here. So you're going to start and stop on this line. However, being the way she is, and she is a genius as far as I'm concerned. I'd love to spend a day in Leonie West's head because I'd love to just get one little morsel of that knowledge that she has. She has also set it up so that we can do these little tails here, and that's what this is for, is the tail, okay? And you can see by my markings here, take that out again, I put in where I'm going to start and stop with the tail. Okay, you could go up as far as you want or come down as far as you want. But this horizontal line that I've put on here is where I want to stop my tail. So I want to stop my tail here, and if I had this line go all the way across, it would just skim the circle that I just stitched on. Okay, I hope that's clear and concise information. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm explaining things correctly. Oh, welcome, Jean. Anyone else want to go? I'll be glad. We can just have a field trip, and we could probably do some quilt shops on the way too. That wouldn't be the worst idea, right? I think Leonie is still in Australia. So we have to have all of our papers in order and ready to go. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I am going to line this line that I drew, and the horizontal line is going to run right through that 2-inch simple circle. I'm going to go ahead and pull that bobbin thread up. Okay, that looks good. I want to make sure you guys can see well. Now, I do have another camera that I really, really like to use. Unfortunately, StreamYard says they do not support that platform or that camera in this platform. But you know what? When I tried it out earlier, it worked. So hopefully next week we're going to have that camera hooked up. Okay, Sarah just said, "Mom, turn your light on." There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my first stitch in place like I always do. I made sure that I have staple tape on both sides of this template. And can you hear that machine? You know what the machine is telling me? It's telling me two things right now. The one thing it's telling me is that my foot is too high. And I did not test my foot before we started. The other thing it's telling me is I need a new needle. I hmm? I am using this machine because I have been trying to finish UFOs. As a matter of fact, today I finished my king size opal. I've been working on that quilt for many years. Feels like yes, ma'am. Okay, you know what else? My foot is a little wiggly here. I don't want a wiggly foot. There we go. Now I'm going to come back and travel. Now, if you are uncomfortable with traveling, it's not the end of the world. You can, if you want, you certainly can put your 2-inch simple circle back on and use that to travel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going one reference line to the right. And I have flipped my template over. And I've got to find my foot. There we go. And so now what I am doing is I am just coming around. And this is half of the motif. Okay, just so you know. Around we go. And that is bothering me. Whoa, see what I mean about my toe catchers? If I don't take that first stitch in place, I always end up with that great big toe catcher stitch there. And I can speed myself up. I like to press on my presser foot the same way I do my car. Start off a little bit on the slow side and then work my speed up. Okay, I'm not going to take the template off. What I am going to do is I am going to stitch over to the next reference line and make another complete rotation. And because this is just practice, I'm going to cut those threads off. So I don't mind traveling. This is something that I've been doing for a long time with my free motion quilting because that is how I got started. And people say, "Oh, I can't do free motion. I can't do free motion." And what I say is, "Oh, yes, you can do free motion." Because what we're doing with So Steady and Westerly templates and rulers is guided free motion. So, yeah, we just have these awesome, awesome tools to let us do free motion. So here we go. And right now it's not looking like a whole lot. I understand that. But this design is going to start taking shape after I get a couple more rotations in here. Oh, good. Thank you, Deb. Okay, and over we go, and we're going to stop right at the top. Now, I'm going to just go over one or two more because I really want you guys to get a good idea of exactly how we're going to do this. Yeah. Oh, you don't, Dee Dee? I come on at 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Central Time, and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's morning in Great Britain and I think in Australia too. I don't remember. But if you're in the United States, that's where it is. That's when we're on. And I'm usually pretty good at starting just right on time. Yeah. My husband says, "You got the crew here, you have to." And he's right. I don't want to disappoint you guys. Yeah, it really does. And what's kind of cool about it, and you can see where I got a little flat spot there. I'm not going to worry about that. It's a practice piece. What's really cool about it is you can do more than what I originally thought we could do with this template. I really simply thought all we could do with it is just put single designs around. So when I started playing with it, I was really kind of happy to see that we could do other things. Okay, I'm going to do this will be the last one in this direction. Mike Bennett said she's late to the party, but she's still excited to learn. Mary Mike Bennett, welcome. We're glad to have you here. And I have seen your name around a few times. Not sure where. Oh, Wanda, hi. Hey, Wanda, did you stitch out that design we worked on today? My goodness, we had so much fun just coming up with different ideas. Although poor Wanda had to put up with 3 very scared dogs because it was thundering and lightning and they don't like the noise. Poor little things. So one of them ended up in Wanda's lap. Okay, so here we go. Now, that's beautiful enough. We could leave it just like that. What is really cool is we could take and put one of our small circles in here. We could even, I think, take one of our 1.5-inch spin effects and put it in there. Okay, now what I'm going to do is flip the template. I'm going to line it up the same exact way. There we go. Sue said hi from Texas. Hi, Sue. Nice to have you with us. And zinnia petals. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen zinnias in so long. My mother and grandmother always had them. Yes, and we actually have a yin yang template. We do, and it's really a cool template. Oh, look at what I did. I got too far up on this one. I was not paying attention. I was too busy talking. And just so you know, your grandson Louis requested zinnias when I lived in an old house. Oh, really? Yes. I just like saying it. He likes the word zinnia. Okay, now I'm coming over to the next. There we go. That's a big puppy. Okay, so I'm just not. There we go. Oh, I know why, because I had to use this one instead. Okay, we're going to make this work, guys. There we go. And we're off on another one. Hopefully I won't make this one flat. So what we're doing is just simply going in one direction, flipping the template over and going in another direction. Now, those of us who do like to take our Inktense pencils out and play, this gives us so much opportunity. It really does. You'll see I don't even really need to take my template off to get to the next line and get started on the next.
Diane said it's 9 a.m. in Queensland, Australia.
9 a.m. in Queensland. Thank you so much for getting us up to date on that. So if it's 9 a.m. in Queensland, everybody in Australia should be watching, right? Okay, here we go. This will be the last rotation. It's really hard to keep track of times from around the world. I need one of those world clocks. Because I know some of my friends over in the UK, they or Great Britain, when they're up watching me, it's pretty doggone late for them. Okay, and there we go. Back up to the top. I'm going to go ahead and turn. There we go. Kind of a goofy looking thing, but it works out. And you'll see you've got a lot of really great opportunities here. Opportunities for drawing, opportunities for templing. Yeah, it just looks like a cool flower to me. I really like that. Really do. Now, what we can do too is we could come in, and I'm just going to do this from here to here, and I'm going to show you a simpler type of motif that we have in here. Do we have any questions on what I've done so far? We got to keep Ken and Sarah busy tonight. uh, even though he can't respond, he's really bummed. He really enjoyed talking to you ladies last week. Okay, there we go. Now what I am going to do is I am going to use this particular mark that I made. When I did this, what you're going to notice is the entire paisley comes to the side of the reference line. I want the reference line in the design. So I'm just going to tilt my template. Say that 3 times real fast. I don't think I can. And I'm going to come back up on here because if you look, I've got it here as well. So that's where I'm going to line it up here. And I'm going to line it up here. So this won't have quite as long a tail, but that's okay. And if you want a longer tail, you certainly can do that. And you simply do that by pulling the template down towards you a little further.
Every time you say that, I laugh.
Whoops.
A longer tail.
Oh. Okay, so here we go. There's our nice, beautiful, soft curve we're putting in with tiny stitches. Now, I shouldn't say tiny stitches. They're not that small, but they are smaller than normal. The other thing that I kind of like to mention is if you're going to use a smaller stitch on a portion or a particular template, you should probably think about using that same size stitch through the entire design. I'm going to now just travel. There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Patsy. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull that down because we want that there. And this is a lot more organized. I look at this design as being a lot cleaner. and more organized. Yeah, that's just the best way of saying it. And, if you get one petal longer than the other, it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. When we are doing things in an organic sense, we want things to be a little different and a little uneven and maybe a little unbalanced like me. Okay, there we go. And don't forget your little arrows too. Those are so helpful in reminding us where we are going and when we should stop. Get rid of this for now. Line everything up again. And you'll see with this one, in order to line the back of the template here. Oh, Judy. You're funny, Judy. Judy wants to be in my brain for a day. Lots of ideas and fun.
I don't know about that.
Sarah and Ken are getting a kick out of that one. They're saying, no, you don't want to be in my brain, Judy. But darling, you're always welcome to come on down here and hang out with me for a day. I'm always happy to welcome people, and Judy is one of my students who's been with me for quite some time. Jan O'Grady. Okay, Jan O'Grady. Do ruler quilters have tips on how to lick designs to use?
I was gonna say probably pick designs.
Oh, to pick designs. I would assume that's right too. To pick designs. You want to know what? Yeah, Ken said, please don't lick the templates. That's not good for you. Uh, how do I pick templates? That's, sometimes, Sarah, you're right. Sometimes it's just a random thought. And with me, a lot of times it's taking a look at a template. I'll just sit and kind of um, scour through the catalog and see if there's one that I like or one that resonates with me. Oh, how do I color reference lines too? Okay, let me get through the first question, then I'm going to answer that second question. Um, what I do is just kind of look through them. If I see something that's interesting, or I've seen something someone does that's interesting, I will definitely pull it out and I will draw it out. I always draw things out before I stitch them. And Wanda can attest to that because we did a lot of drawing today. But we came up with some really, really fun designs that maybe nobody else has thought of yet. I don't know. Now, picking the color for my reference lines, that's an easy one. Who asked that one? Anne. Anne asked that. And the way that I do that is I want just as much contrast as I can get. You'll see that I've got purple lines on a bright yellow fabric here. I'm going to be pulling out another block here for you guys in a second. And even though it had dark and light fabrics in it, I still found that the purple friction pen worked fine with it. And I'm going to show it to you as soon as I get this rotation done here. Okay, so here's another thing you can do with the circle. I like this one. This is my favorite. It really is. Yeah, Jan, how do we pick designs? Oh, oh, really? You want to do that? Yeah, absolutely. If you have, Jan does wool work and applique wool work, which I think is awesome. I know somebody else who's dabbled in that myself. So what I do, like I said, I go through the catalog. The other thing I do is I go through a lot of quilting uh, Facebook pages, and when I see something I like, I bookmark it or I copy it onto my hard drive in a file that says inspiration. And I get so much inspiration. Pinterest has inspiration. There's so many different places. And if you don't know, give me a call. You guys all have my contact information. Be more than happy to talk it over with you. Okay. All right. The third one we're going to do here is going to be without the circle in the center. Now, one thing I have not shown you, and I am going to do that right now before we do the third one, and that is, what do I do if I just want to put different size paisleys around? What we're going to do is we're going to start at that horizontal line that we looked at earlier. And we need to bring our bobbin thread up. Oh, and it is so little because I use my cutter. I normally don't do that. And you guys might have noticed I don't have my Singer 301 out either. As I said, I just today finished a king size quilt, putting the binding on it. And as much as I love that Singer 301, it's just not heavy enough. The quilts, when they're that size, and this was totally temp lead on top of it. I weighed the quilt. It weighs exactly 10 pounds. But anyway, the machines are too light and the quilt pushes them around. So that's why I needed to bring my big one out. And this is the Juki Kokochi QVP 40,000. Ken calls it Big Bertha.
Did you take that one from Dad too?
No, I did not take this machine from my husband, just the 301.
He's everybody.
Yeah. He has lost a few of his sewing machines. So what I would normally do, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off. What I would do here is I would just make a simple overhand knot here. And then I'm going to get, oh, there it is, my self-threading needle. I'm going to cinch the knot close to the top of the quilt square, but not on it. We'll leave an eighth to a quarter of an inch. I'm going to go ahead and put my thread into my self-threading needle. And then I am going to put the needle in where the bobbin thread came up, push it through. Now, this is really interesting because this thread is a real dark blue under this yellow, and it shows. So when you're working with like a white or a real light with a dark color thread, you want to make sure to get it in the batting so that it doesn't show. And Ken's over here giggling about something.
And here it's she meant the reference lines on the ruler for one thing. And Dee Dee wants to know about that tape on the front of your machine.
This tape. Hi, Mary. Okay, sorry. I have to say hi to Mary. She's one of my gals who lives just up the road a little bit. This tape right here is there to hide this. Okay, and the reason I've got it there to hide that is because with some cameras, that light makes the colors go weird. It washes it out, and yeah, it just is. They're not friendly. Not friendly.
Get along very well.
Yeah, there we go, Sarah. They don't get along. Yeah, they're siblings. Listen to her. Okay, so what I'm going to do here with this one, and I need, where did I put it? Okie dokie. Oh, I should cut my bobbin thread off. Uh, You guys get to see all the mistakes I make.
I heard that one.
Oops. Okay. Ann Erickson asked, what did I use to mark this? Is this what you're referring to, Anne? Is the mark on the ruler? That is the vis-a-vis. Okay. The reason I use vis-a-vis is because they come off wet, but they will not come off on your fabric. And if you're in a pinch, okay, which I was today, you can always lick your finger and then you're going to have a green finger. But you know, that'll come off tonight when I do dishes. So I'm not overly worried about it. So anyway, this is another one that I want to show you. What I have done here is I have got a 3-inch simple circle, and I'm going to use my 1.5 inch. I'm going to use my 1.5 inch Paisley. So let me just put the circle in halfway. You know what happens, you guys? We get going here and I lose track of time. An hour just does not seem long enough. Okay, here we go. There's the bobbin thread. I told you it went a long way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put half of this 3-inch simple circle in. Now, this would be really kind of a cool design. Could you take that out and find the 4-inch circle in there too? I think there's a 4-inch. I would appreciate that.
Do you want the circle or the cutout?
The circle, please, not the cutout. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off. 4. No, that's the cutout.
But it says 4 on it.
Yeah, that should say 4 on it.
That's 3.5.
That's 4. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in this way. Those of you who have the beautiful needle channels, I am so jealous. Okay, and you see why. I'm challenged as to how to get these off and put them back on. Okay, so now I'm going to line up the 4-inch. And I'm just going to stitch down to it. In a perfect world, I would stitch up and down every one of these lines. Time precludes me from doing that tonight. And again, remember, if there's anything that I covered that you have questions on, whatever, feel free. You can text me, you can email me, you can leave me questions on the instructor page. And don't forget, if you leave a little bit of information on how things went tonight or any night on the instructor page, you get a $5 off coupon for your next purchase through So Steady. So that's an easy way to make $5 actually. Okay, so now I've got this in. What am I going to do with that? Well, what I am going to do is I am going to put the foot on. I am going to line up this top horizontal mark. And you can see what I did was I put a line with my vis-a-vis marker, and what I wanted it to be was I wanted the middle of the paisley to fall in the middle of this circle. So the horizontal lines are coming on these horizontal lines, the reference lines. Okay, I'm keeping this. This will pretend is reference line number 1. And I'm just going to come down, go around, come back up, and I'm going to meet that Paisley. No tail on this Paisley. Now I'm going to travel on the 3-inch simple circle until I get to reference line number 2. And again, I'm going to line up with my horizontal line at the 3-inch. It's kind of bisecting it there. And again, I'm going to come down. We're going to come around.
Mary Lavonde Nelson says hi.
Hi,
She's
Mary.
watching after gallbladder surgery today, and she thanks you for entertaining her tonight.
Mary, I hope you're feeling okay. That is never a fun surgery. If I had known, I'd have sent you flowers. Actually, I'm kind of hoping that one of these days soon I'm going to get up your way. Okay, so here we go. I again am making that crosshair just bisect there. And we're going to do another Paisley. And it's going to meet up again perfectly on that 3-inch circle. Now, you could do this with a larger circle and a larger Paisley. I really encourage you guys, play with it. Get your paper out. What I do is I save all the paper, for the release paper from my template fuse. It's actually stored underneath my cutting mat. Perfect place for it. Keeps it nice and flat, and it's always there when I need it. So that is a great use of recycling that paper. Okay, and around we're going to go again. It really leaves an interesting design, I think. Kind of like cloves of garlic. I am thinking. Okay, and back around we're going to go. Now, last week we didn't have time to do our block. And I'm starting to think maybe we're going to run short on time again this week, which really disappoints me because it's fun to do the actual quilt blocks. But we're going to try. Okay, and around we go. This will be the last rotation I'll show you because I think you'll get a really good representation of exactly how this is going to look. There we go. And there we go. Isn't that cool? I really like this. This is just simply turning the Paisley the wrong way. It could have happened by accident. Who knows? I'll never tell. Okay, so what you can do if you want to really bring this design out to be much larger, and if I can find them here, you could take a larger Paisley, and I'm going to show you exactly how I make my lines. Dee Dee, you're right. Starry Night templates. So if I want the long end of my Paisley to end here, and here you'll see that horizontal line is bisecting the mark or the 4-inch circle. I'm sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just lay my ruler down. And I am lining my ruler up with the reference line. And the reason I am doing this is so that I keep the template on the same angle each rotation I stitch. Okay, that's important because if you stitch this one this way and then stitch the next one this way, it could look kind of silly. Patty, Patty, will this be available again? I have these templates and love your designs. Well, first, Patsy, thank you so much. And yes, this is recorded and you can find it on So Steady's YouTube channel, 906 Quilting YouTube channel. I am 906 Quilting. Most of you already know that. You also should be able to find it on Facebook under So Steady and 906 Quilting's Facebook page. Um, Definitely, we keep these recorded. I assume Stacey's going to leave them on there in perpetuity. I don't know for a fact, but I think she will. Okay. You know, also another thing I want you guys to know is you can always go to that instructor page too. If there are particular templates that you want a class on, let me know. I'd be happy to do it. Um, my class schedule is not quite as busy this year as I've been in previous years, so I think I have a little more time to make university classes, which I enjoy doing so much. I really do. It's not as good as doing the live broadcasts with you guys because I really enjoy this more than anything else. Okay, here we go. Now I am using the template on the 4-inch circle going in an outward direction. And the reason that I'm doing this is to show you guys that you can really make these designs fit your blocks. If you need it bigger, use a bigger template. If you need it smaller, use a smaller template. That is the nice thing about having the sets. You know, a lot of people I know say, well, I just need the one for a project I'm doing. Well, that's fine. But what I have found is once I get that first template, I wish I had them all. And then if I go back and order them all individually, it costs more money. The other thing is it takes longer, okay? The sets of templates are usually in stock, so you get them quicker. They don't have to be prepared. So there are 2 good reasons. You get it quicker and it's going to be less expensive. The third good reason is the guy who dies with the most templates wins. Okay, yeah, not really. I'm just teasing you. But, you know, once you start using them and start putting together templates in different ways, it's just it kind of has a grows a life of its own, definitely. So here we go. Now I'm going to go ahead to my next one. I'm only going to put one more in, and the reason being is I really do want to get on the regular quilt block with you, at least for one rotation.
Says we need more Zoom classes.
Oh, Debbie, I am with you all over the place with that. I love doing Zoom classes. Um, I think I could do one every day of the week. I really do, other than there's only 24 hours in a day. And, you know, we do a lot of preparing for the classes. I will be doing another Zoom class in June, and we're going to do the Cali Star. Now, the Cali Star is a pieced project that we're going to be working on, and we have the rulers that we will be using for that. And what the emphasis of that class is going to be piecing to perfection. I've never done it, but maybe we can get really good at it, I'm sure. So we're going to be using the Cali Star. There is a pattern book at So Steady. There is also the cutting or the patchwork rulers that we will be using for that. The thing that's really cool about the Cali Star is it can be made so many different ways. So, you buy the tools one time and you can use them in a plethora of different ways. So it's a good investment.
Sylvia is asking how you store your templates when you get a lot.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you guys around. So I'm just going to black it out for a second so that you don't get dizzy, okay? Here we go. I'm going to show you my rulers. There they are. That is how I store my rulers. Those are file boxes or file cube cubbies or whatever you want to call them. They are alphabetized. They are color coded, yes. And I can easily find them when I need them. So Debbie got the pool. Debbie, good. You're going to be doing the Cali Star with us. That's awesome. So here we go. I'm going to get you guys back to the project here. And it helps to, if you have a friend, right, Julie, who is willing to help you put rubber bumpers on each one of those basket feet so that they don't scratch up the bookcase. And in the process of that, I ended up with several burns, couple of them third-degree burns, and that is just because you don't want to use a glue gun. Well, I learned that lesson the hard way, but that is a great way to store them. It really is. Mhm. Joyce had a question?
Joyce said, so I'm doing a Zoom with Angie. You see that?
No, I don't see that. I'm sorry.
Doing a Zoom with Angie
Atwood.
Atwood in New Hampshire. I live in California and never get to see her in person.
Uh,
I'm learning so much. It would be the same with you.
Thank you. Yeah. Um,
People sign up for the Cali Star.
Pardon me?
The Cali Star. How can somebody sign up for it?
You know what? Send me an email or text me. I don't know if it's out yet to be signed up. Okay. The Cali Star. But, oh, Mary, that's you who wants to know. Yeah. I've got your phone number, Mary, and you've got mine. Why don't you give me a call when you're feeling better? Okay. I don't want to call you while you're recovering. Okay. I've just been told I have 3 minutes. I don't know how much I can stuff into 3 minutes, but let me.
Forget to draw.
We can't forget to draw. That's right. We will not forget to draw. This is the block that I chose tonight. Okay. And I'm going to get no, I want the big one. Where did I put it? There it is. This is going to be the last design I want to show you guys. I have not shown you this yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is you'll see I have 16 reference lines here. There we go. And pulling, I don't have a circle in here. I am pulling my bobbin thread up. And I am going to, there we go, plant my needle. And I am going to hold the top horizontal line lining up with my reference lines. Okay, so this would be my reference line number 1 coming at me, and I will be going on the perpendicular perpendicular ones. Okay, I always have to say that to myself so I know which it is, perpendicular or parallel. And I'm simply going to continually go around on all 16 rotations. Now, what I want you guys to notice on this, and this I think is really important to note, I am not pushing any of my seam allowances. I have my foot up high enough that I'm not skipping any stitches. Okay, but I also am not pushing my fabric aside. So you could do this with 8, you can do this with 16, you could do it with as many or as few rotations as you want to do. And there, I just lost my foot pedal there for a second. And considering the size of my feet, that's hard to do. Okay, round we go. So what's going to happen here is we're going to end up with a lot of thread in the middle. So in order to alleviate that, and my foot just popped up. Whoops, I want it down a little bit. What I do to alleviate that is I like to just take one stitch out before I head out, kind of thing. So instead of starting the rotation exactly in the center, I'll go like a stitch, not even a stitch, maybe half a stitch out. And that will help keep that center a little less bulky. And around we're going to go. Don't forget to make those stitches just a little bit smaller. All the way up, and you can see my fabric is flagging a little bit when I'm getting towards the center here because I have less fabric here than I do out here. Out here I've got, and let me use this, it's easier for you to see. Out here I've got seam allowance, seam allowance. In here I have no seam allowance. Okay, so we're going to come to the next line. And again, we're going to go around. And you see how beautifully it goes over the seams. That's important too. The reason it's going over is not just because of where the foot is, but the other reason that it's not getting pushed around or getting hung up on those seams is that I pressed it well. Okay. When you're pressing, you want to make sure that everything stays as flat as can be. And that's one of the things that we're going to be discussing and learning when we do the Cali Star. Proper techniques for pressing, for piecing, and, making sure we get the most out of the time and effort that we put into it. I think that is so important. Now, right here, I'm going over a hump of intersection, and it's got several layers of fabric, but it doesn't buckle at all. It doesn't push at all, nothing. And a lot of that is due to pressing properly. Remember, when we're quilting, we don't iron, we press. We iron shirts. Oh, Ken, I shouldn't have said that. Now you're going to expect me to iron your shirts. But we don't iron our fabric because that can cause our fabric to become stretched and skewed. So this will be the center that I am going to put in here. My first stitches or my beginning thread tails, I'm going to cut off because those are going to be buried deep within there and they will not come loose. So guys, hi Gwen, nice to see you. Where can you find the Kelly Star information? Let me see. If you go to 906 Quilting under Facebook, and I will ask Stacy if we can get it onto the So Steady Facebook page too. Okay. The book and the template set will come up, Dee Dee. You're absolutely right. And I am also asking students for that class to get Leonie's West's Shh, don't tell anybody book, because that's what's really going to help us learn to be better piecers. You know, Mary, give me a call. Like I said, I'll be glad to fill you in. Do we have any questions before we draw for next week? I didn't forget. We got the drawing, and here we go. Oh, we are going to do fun and fancy. This is Kate Quinn's set that she did along with a book. I'm not going to do all of it, but we are going to go ahead and look at this set next week. Should be a lot of fun. I hope that you all have a wonderful Memorial Day. It is Monday, and I think we should just kind of think about what Memorial Day is about and take a time to thank those who have gone before us in the name of freedoms that we so dearly love and cherish. You have that set, Jan. That's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I just always have so much fun, and this hour passes so quickly. Thanks, Debbie. Diane, we will see you next week. Linda, thank you again, and thank you for being the first one again this week. You don't, oh, thank you, Dee Dee. That's just so sweet of you. I really appreciate it. Lee, thank you. Thank you for coming. It is important to me, and it just makes my day. Thank you, Dee Dee. I will say goodbye for now, and until we meet again, let's quilt.